You are listening to the Foamy Heads podcast, where we discuss craft beer and anything else that accompanies a glass.
Mitch and Rich back on the mics and another episode of the Foamy Heads. Mitch, we're hanging out in Athens, Georgia today. I'm excited. Drive wasn't bad either.
No, it went by really quick.
I stopped and picked you up, and then we just kept going. Hit a couple of traffic spots.
Of course.
It wasn't too bad, but it was worth it. Creature Comforts just kind of setting the stage a little bit. Has a place in both of our hearts. I mean, like, we've been fans of Creature Comforts for the longest time. Tropicalier has a place in my heart from way back. Bebo is probably one of the best Pilsners I've had.
Classic City Lager surprised me last year. Or was it 2 years ago? One of the Asa and Michelle at the time talked a lot about it.
That's right.
Got us, I guess, a case of them, or split a couple for us. One of those. But.
That's right, because we were doing the episode with Michelle and Asa, and they were sitting in this location.
Yeah.
I think they were somewhere upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
But it's ironic just to set the stage, because we were talking just a couple of days before these guys reached out to us here, and we were like, man, we really need to get back to Atlanta. Like, we should hit up Creature Comforts. We should just go see Athens, and then go hit downtown Atlanta. And then we got an email from Ale's PR team. It was wild. Yes. And we're actually sitting right next to two of probably the coolest people in the game right now.
Yeah.
And we've got the real Ale Sharpton with us today. And we've got Blake Tyers from Creature Comforts. Gentlemen, how's it going?
Man, even better now, kicking it with my boys, man. We go way back.
Yes.
I appreciate you.
Straight up.
It's so
man.
good to see you.
It's great to be here.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys coming to see us.
Yeah, thanks for hosting us. I mean, again, Creature Comforts is just probably one of the favorite breweries, and to be able to sit at the home base and talk to you guys today about, the knowledge of beer that you guys have, and getting into the special release with the new Piano Keys, and then just in general, having you guys being here with us, and we can learn from you guys today. That's what we like to do. We like to know what's in you guys' heads, and we like to get that out. Mm-hmm. So really excited about that. And then
Careful.
Huh?
So be careful.
That's what we're here for. That's what post-production's for. But the star of the show, we're here today because, Blake, I mean, you guys have a really special collaboration going on here.
That's right. We decided, and Ale approached us last year, and we feel very honored, known Ale for a long time, and to bring back Piano Keys, celebrating also his 30th anniversary of being a contributor and a narrator and a icon in the beer industry.
Sure.
And I knew without a doubt that we could give justice to what has happened to Piano Keys before us and make sure we bring it to life. And we've been working on this project now for, I guess, 6 to 8 months is kind of when we started kicking around.
Wow.
Yep.
And,
R&D, all that good stuff.
And here we are today with the release. So
wait.
we're very excited about it.
And we've got the cans in here. Typically, normally what we like to do is pour it, take a sip, kind of understand, talk about it, and then I want to get into the history with Piano Keys and the release and the 30 years, which is insane, by the way. To be in this industry and to be a voice for an industry like this for 30 years, pushing those barriers and those boundaries.
I appreciate you.
Is nuts.
No, that's real, though. I mean, they really pushed that narrative of me being 30 years. Fenwick and and my wife, of course, Andrea, and the team. We met up, and it was really dope. And I approached Adam first, the CEO, and I told him, I put him aside during their anniversary. What number was that one?
It was 11. 12 this year.
Yeah, wow. 12 this year. And I told him, I said, dude, I didn't tell anybody, I didn't go to any other brewery yet, but I want to make Piano Keys with you guys. And he said, what? I'm like, yeah. He said, I said, all due respect to New Belgium, but you guys have known since day one, literally, trying Tropicalier when it was in home brew form as a little gift for me at Brick Store.
Yeah.
So that's how far back we go. And then, I know these guys. So.
And the completed product is sitting on our table today.
It is.
All of you guys' hard work has paid off.
I'm going to get a couple more small glasses so we can drink.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Should we pop this open right now, Mitch?
Yeah, let's
Okay.
get
It'd be
into
an honor,
it.
man. And the can, everything. People know me. I'm in the sneakers. I'm into design. I'm into try to do anything cool and have my take on it. And this can is exactly what I thought it was going to be. And look, this is how far we've gone. I actually hand drew it first.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And gave it to their designers and said, let's play around with it, come up with a new kind of lettering for it. If you notice, there's a lot of Easter eggs with this one, down to the lettering and stuff. I'm a design and communications major, so I thought it would just be perfect to nerd out with their team. And it's one of my most fun things to do when it comes to making a beer.
Like from an artistic standpoint?
Yeah, the art stuff. That's that merch. I mean, of course, I give what the hell the flavor is going to be that I'm envisioning, but they realized everything I had in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool to see. It's like when you have the idea and see it come to light,
No,
and it's sitting
dope.
on the can art. And one of the things you brought the can art up, I want to get into that in just a second. But even you were very specific about the original fonts of Piano Keys.
Yep.
Kind of gave like a Godfather type font to it.
I want a gangster beer.
This I can't tell. This font looks different.
Yeah. I maintained. Shout out to Tyler and Larry and the creative team. I wanted to maintain that font just to kind of have some recognition. People still know it's Piano Keys. But the P and the K, they really freaked that and I wanted more musical kind of vibe to it. And shout out to New Belgium for bringing me on to realize my dream of making my own beer first and foremost. But going with these guys, I knew it was going to be something totally different and creative, yet still embracing the kind of feel and design kind of concept I want to kind of preserve.
Yeah.
The color scheme, the colorway, and they freaked it. Like, again, you see this right here. And I that's what I started with. And that's why I let the logo kind of open.
Heck yeah.
So that we could come up with something together, and they killed that, man.
I love it.
Yeah.
Little Easter eggs. You got the I don't know if you guys are musicians or not, but this is the bass clef. So you probably have heard of a treble clef, which is used for
I was
here.
wondering. Okay, yeah.
Like the ampersand. So that's a treble clef. And then if you read music that's with bass notes, this is the bass clef right here. Kind of integrated, and then we've also integrated like the calligraphy from that you would use for like eighth notes in writing music on staff. So
And 8's my lucky number. I was born October 8th, and I was already sold.
there we go.
Heck yeah.
There's other little things too, but we can come back to that, I guess.
Yeah.
I love it. The attention to detail.
My favorite
is really
glass is
good.
in there, and I wanted to emphasize the A for ale.
Yeah.
Like I did with the other one, and they said no problem. So take cool, but this is kind of more a different style of glassware. And now this is my favorite style of glassware. You know,
Is that the this isn't quite straight wall, right?
That's the Rastal Harmony.
Rastal Harmony.
Always like that.
Hey,
You
yeah.
like that?
harmony
that.
music.
Yeah.
The music, like everything music related plays into this. I mean, from piano keys to playing on the music aspect, and to the black and white of the like ebony and ivory
There you
keys,
go.
and
Diversity.
to diversity and all that stuff. Like everything comes together
Yep.
to form what's sitting in this 16-ounce can right here. It's cool to see, and the black like top, the
Yeah.
black can is
Yep.
a dope look. I'm not gonna lie.
Absolutely.
Yeah. On the nose on this thing, by the way,
Yeah.
Mitch, there's chocolate. There's I don't know what that is. There's something else in addition to it. I smell some vanilla. I think I'm going to get more of that probably on the taste. But what else am I smelling in the nose other than that chocolate? Or is it just that deep, like rich chocolate?
You want us to tell you?
I can say
can't- well, so
he can say some
that's-
shit. I can say some
that's my guess. That's my guess.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah, no.
it's one of the things that you said a few years back when we sat down with you the first time, and this was before even the Ale Mac stuff. This was when we were at Inner Voice in Atlanta, and we were talking about the piano keys. Is that I came up with something like I had a taste on something, and Ale had said like the beauty about craft beer is that taste is subjective.
That's right.
So like I can smell
Damn,
something,
remember
I
that,
can
man?
taste
Really?
something.
You're my
I'm
brother,
telling you,
man.
I mean, I have a few. I had to go back, a few years, but I figured it out.
Yeah,
But the
yeah.
beauty of something like this is I will probably pick up on most of what like the description is telling me to, but there are things that I'm not going to pick up that somebody like, probably yourself, Blake, would just like, that's in there and you're expecting it to. It's like reading the label of like a cigar. They can sit there and tell you all the taste profiles and stuff, and you're going to pick up on some, and you're going to rely on somebody else to give you the rest. So I get chocolate on the nose. I get a boozy, like a heavy booze smell on the nose. I'm expecting it to taste really smooth when I drink it, but that's what I get on the nose, Mitch.
What you got, my man, Mitch?
You hit it all. I like the extra little booziness to it. I don't know. Whenever I see something below a 10, I don't expect it to smell so stout for some reason. I don't know. It could be because
9.6.
9.6.
Yeah, 96 is when he started writing.
Yeah,
There's so that's 30. Even that's like strategy.
That's the 30 years.
Yeah.
Can I take a sip of it now?
Let's get into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, for the nose though too.
Oh,
okay. Blake and I just to
please.
One of them that I'm sure Blake's going to say one too, but he I would say he's going to say some leathery kind of hints in there that you get, and real deal tobacco type of thing going on there, like the complexity there. And again, there's no wrong answer, but those are things why I love the complexity. Like I tried this for the first time like a few days ago.
Really?
So I'm still geeking out on it. So imagine you waiting all this time to actually smell it, let alone taste it. So those are notes. I don't know. Did I miss anything else, Blake?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lesson built in here too, that it's an exposure to a vanilla like you probably haven't experienced before. And so when we put this together, we try to be really intentional about the ingredients going in our beer.
Sure.
And so we've been using vanilla in beers now for many, many years. And through that have started to explore the world of vanilla. And like most people, particularly if your experience with vanilla is like a home baker or something, vanilla is vanilla, and it's either like paste or extract on the shelf at the grocery store. We work with a supplier of vanilla that does a great job of a few things that I love. Is number one is supplying us a lot of amazing direct offerings from all over the world, but also he works with the people who actually grow the vanilla so that our money is going back in their pockets.
I like that.
But I mean, we're talking several different species of vanilla that are available to us. And then beyond the several species, each of those grown in multiple countries. And vanilla is just like a lot of other things that we get out of agriculture, where it's grown is going to change significantly on how it presents in the final product. And the most like analogous thing to that would be kind of like coffee, maybe, where coffee is grown in a certain place, the where it's grown matters, but then also after you pick coffee, how it's treated, how you get the bean out of the fruit, and how you dry that fruit or how you dry that bean, like all the fermentation that happens through that all impacts the flavor that you get out of that. And same thing with vanilla. Vanilla is like a seed pod of a different kind of a specific kind of orchid. So you have these seed pods, and we brought Ale in, and I laid out I think 10 different origins of vanilla beans, and you can see them, you can hold them. Like some of them are small and skinny and dried up and really shriveled, and some of them are just fat and juicy, and all of them have different kind of notes that you get out of either drying in the sun or being more air dried or whatever that climate might be, or what kind of fermentation happens. So we actually have 3 different species from 3 different countries in this beer. And I think what you get out of that is a deeper quality than just like the vanilla you're used to. And you start to pick up on like everything from baking spice notes, which I really attribute to the Cook Islands vanilla we use in this, to Ugandan vanillas in here. And for that, I always get like corner brownie, like Maillard kind of chocolate notes. And then we also use Peruvian Pampano, which is a wild grown vanilla. And that gets a little bit more, I would say like nasally floral kind of notes, which then also kind of, I think, plays in the same lane as boozy. Like
interesting.
If that's what it was. It was that one right there.
The last one.
It's that last one. It's like, there's like, it's like a, I didn't want to say, like, I'm glad you mentioned vanilla, and it was almost like you can kind of confuse it for like a not sweet chocolate, but almost like a cherry chocolate for me. I didn't get when you mentioned vanilla, I was like, no, it's not like when you walk home and your mom's like baking cookies. Like that's really sweet.
Yep.
Like it wasn't that. It wasn't sugary sweet. It was exactly what you described at the end.
That is typically Madagascar vanilla extract.
Okay.
And so that's a specific kind of vanilla, and that is like that classic kind of like sweet vanilla with like a floral component to it.
Okay.
And we use that sometimes because certainly that hits with people with vanilla. But in a beer like this, it's like, look, dude, let's get deep with it because it offers complexity. It will evolve not only in the glass but in the can for a while, and it helps really connect the dots between what you get out of cocoa nibs and also your base malts, and it kind of really bridges this really full vanilla experience.
If I can say real quick, the Piano Keys before this, we had a sit down, and they asked me what was I envisioning for the way this would taste and smell. Yeah. And one of the things I want to do differently, the one before this was a dark chocolate, more forward beer, and I appreciated that. But I wanted the vanilla to have a little more of a spotlight. And I said to Blake, and he was just basically literally like, hold my beer, I got you. Because I didn't know he was such a vanilla genius in a lot of ways. Honestly, and one of my most experienced, my favorite experience, besides designing the can, is smelling the vanillas and tasting them, actually taking them out of these shrink wrap packages and slicing them down the middle, feeling the texture, the smell, and actually tasting it on site. And they had 10 of them. And I picked 3 that were my favorites, and it was the same 3.
What went into that determination, though?
A little bit of the flavor, the aroma, and then I'll ask more questions after that, like how is this going to maintain, and how much is this going to affect the nose? And he was breaking down every one, but we picked the exact same 3, which was crazy.
Yeah, they're just like vanilla is distinct. I mean, like you have, we talked about Pompano. There's Tahitianus, which is another species, and there's what's the other one? The one that's the Plantfolia. So all of these like change the shape and size, and if you smell them, like some of them are more leathery, some of them are more tobacco, like Ale's talking about. Some of them are like real rich on the baking spices, and so you get this range, and it's like, all right, let's build a little, spice blend here, and figure out what we want to put into this beer.
And we could talk more. I know y'all been very patient with trying the beer, but we didn't even talk about the chocolate. But
that's like. And I'm curious how I'm about to find out, but I'm curious how much of that I'm going to pick up on the taste also.
Yeah.
I think the more you drink it, the more it's going to keep giving you different vanilla notes through the glass. Like I imagine if you smell that in 10 minutes, you'll have a different aroma experience.
You think so?
Absolutely. Yeah. As it warms up, it's going to change like kind of how it hits your nose, what you get used to. Yeah.
And this has not been said yet. This has not been mentioned, but of course we have a lot to talk about in this beer, but this is not one of those stouts that's too thick to drink.
That was one of the things.
And too thin to just down. This is a sipping style beer. I'm getting vanilla on the taste. I'm getting dark chocolate. I'm not getting like overly sweet chocolate, which is really good. It's right in the middle. It's right where it needs to be. 9.6.
Yeah, that's the other part too. It's not super sweet,
smooth beer,
and it's just elegant. And again, like Blake said, the flavor profiles change a little bit. As with other stouts, you see, you taste other components and things that just was like, oh wow, I didn't try that before. But
and the taste stays with you too. Like it stays on the back of your mouth. Like it's still
dark
there.
chocolate, especially.
Yeah. I like the finish. How you get that little more of a dark chocolate kind of edge. It really balances out. I think the more like vanilla forward aroma and first impression you get.
Yeah, real soft and just enough dry right at the end.
That's right.
So what about the chocolate then? I mean, chocolate's locally sourced, right? Is it from the area here?
Well,
or is it not too far?
It's roasted locally.
Sourced
from Ecuador. So we work with Condor Chocolates.
Okay.
They're here in Athens. And they have a beautiful family story where their family is Ecuadorian. They source from there, and they really just make world-class chocolate right here in town. In fact, they're about 2 blocks away where they roast and produce all their chocolate. Wow, so they're very intentional about what they do. So we know that they are taking the time to go down to Ecuador and source great beans and get all that jazz. And I think really the superpower that we are afforded by working with them is that we get to put those cocoa nibs into our beer. I mean, like the day after it's roasted. And I'll tell you, I've worked with different cocoa nibs. And there's a difference between opening up a package that was roasted weeks ago at some other place and what you get out of that aroma versus opening up the container that came down the street yesterday. Yeah. It blows up the entire brewery with this rich chocolate aroma. And so it makes such a difference when you do it that way.
To be able to smell this thing in the brewery, like as it's going, that'd be insane.
I used to spend a lot of time making a lot of stouts. So luckily, I've been able to learn a couple thing or two through some mistakes. And getting cocoa nibs fresh it's a game changer.
It's the game changer.
And Piano Keys is on some Weird of the World shit anyway. Like, we really want to tap into places around the world to source the ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the things in the Ugandan and all that, and showing love to the motherland was a big thing. But we also, speaking of motherland, one of my requests was to implement Symphonio. Shout out to my boy Garrett Oliver and what he's been doing and exposing this great grain that people are brewing with from West Africa. And Blake said no problem. Like, he was checking all the boxes of things that I was kindly asking for, but really would love to have a part of the beer and make sure it wouldn't affect any of the recipe and all that. But he, the genius that he is, implemented everything I wanted. And Garrett's my homie. He was my inspiration, the only inspiration from a brother standpoint of someone being in industry. And we had different roles, which is really dope. You know, he's writing books and really about a lot of those intricacies of beer. And mine is more of the styles and educating people on what beer could taste like and how beer is not just yellow and fizzy that you see on the commercials. So that was why I made Imperial Stout. My shit is West Coast IPAs.
I know that. I remember that. Yeah.
but
You're
I want to make
hot-headed
something where
hard,
people are like,
aren't you?
wow, I know beer could taste like chocolate.
Yeah.
I'm talking
That's awesome.
people who don't know things about beer.
My wife is not a big beer fan. Loves a good stout. Like, that is her.
So she is a beer fan, but just
Yeah.
stout,
So,
right?
and that's kind of what got her into it is she's like, well, I don't like really bitter. I don't like super carbonated. I like something that's got some body to it, which is probably why she likes me, but she likes something that has some body to it and something that's like heavy and dark. And like one of her originals was like Wiseacre's Got to Get Up to Get Down, because she's a big coffee fan and to be able to have a very heavy coffee flavor profile in a stout was like right up her alley. So and that actually leads into one of the questions that I had, Ale, for you is, over the course of like your 30 years in the industry, like Piano Keys has not been this, like, it hasn't been a constant recipe. Like it changes as it goes.
Absolutely.
What about this release is kind of like for you the sticking point? Because I will tell you right now, like, I remember what the Piano Keys tasted like from a few years back. All of the ones I had have been good. This tastes different from the original one I had. This one is a little bit heavier. I get a little bit more chocolate. I get a little, it's smoother than I remember. The other one had more, it was, I think if I recall, it was a little bit more on the vanilla and less on the chocolate. So I like the balance that you've been doing throughout like the industry. But like, what about this one that sticks out compared to the first few batches that you made or that you envisioned?
They landed, New Belgium did what they did, and they did a great job. And they made small changes. I would say I need more roastiness, or I want a little less of this. But I knew that I just needed I wanted a different take. And his stouts are phenomenal. They are.
Yeah.
And think about it. Me put my name out there on something I worked so 30 years hard for.
Yeah.
I got to pick the right people. But it's not just the people, it's what they do and how they treat from their employees to the reactions of people who've worked there for a long time, and how they're into community. There are a lot of other things besides, because we know a lot of breweries that make great beer, but who knows how they handle the society and community and really what they give a shit about. And so all those things, it just looked like a win-win situation. They help, especially people in terms of equity, racially too. They looked out for a lot of my homies. I saw that with Our Culture and others who they work with, and Fenwick. And I just see that they're not about the BS just to do it for show. They're really about it. So I was like, I got to pick them first. And I didn't have to go anywhere else. But to answer your question with this one is just, I wanted a little more vanilla. I wanted a little more balance, something different. The texture's perfect. And I just think about waiting for that long time to see if this beer is going to be it. But his confidence
Man.
I wasn't worried about
You didn't
that.
have to
I was
worry-
more
you didn't
worried
have to
about
worry
how
about it
the
at all.
can would look like.
Yeah.
Because I know the beer was going to be fire. Because
Right.
we did a walk after we talked seriously about it. He said, "Here's one of the stouts. It's going to be kind of close to." I said, "If it's anywhere close to that, I'll be okay."
Okay.
But now this one is everything I wanted.
What does the Fonio possibly change flavor wise?
Fonio, we didn't. I wouldn't say we used enough to in this. Like, I always use like music analogies with beer. Like this is not the execution wise, but as far as like the volume is like a heavy metal landscape, right? Like there's a lot of very loud flavors, right? So then you have a lot of flavors that are competing at this louder level. And Fonio in this particular beer is not meant to compete with those big vanilla and chocolate flavors. But what the Fonio does bring, and so we did another beer about a year ago with our friends Our Culture, and we highlighted Fonio from a flavor point of view. And in that regard, we did a lager, like get everything else out of the way, let the Fonio do the talking for flavor. So Fonio in that world brings like this interesting kind of like white grape, floral, like light kind of white wine kind of flavor. It's really interesting. And in a stout, where it can offer a lot of ability is to bring, it's a high protein grain. It's not what we're used to, but other high protein grains we talk about are like wheat and oats. And I'm sure you guys have talked a lot about wheat and oats, and you talk about how they bring body. And so high protein grains bring body. They bring like, it depends on how much you use, but they can bring foam stability. They can bring texture, things like that, which that actually makes a lot of sense to put into a stout.
Right.
So I think Fonio has a role in a stout in that regard. I don't think you should use like, for example, in that lager, I think we used close to 20% of the grist was Fonio to make that flavor pop. I would not suggest you do that for a stout. I don't think that's what stouts are meant to taste like.
Right.
I guess you could do an interesting export stout, which is like the Caribbean style stout. But in this regard, I think it can bring texture and be a really nice touch to a way like where you have a nice mouthfeel. And
It's meant to be it's meant to complement the big flavors in the beer.
It's a supporting
it
role.
supports
It's-
yeah.
This is a special beer. This is solid.
No, I really appreciate
Every
it.
sip is evolving as I don't know.
I was speaking how
tasting
you
new
kept
things.
like, okay, and then like other flavors start to get pronounced. But
It's
I really,
awesome.
Mitch and I are very different beer drinkers in a sense that like I like to get right into it. You might have seen Mitch a few minutes ago. He was going like this.
Yeah.
Like he was
Temperature.
warming the beer up. Like for me, a beer is good at any temperature. Like I'll drink an IPA cold.
I also agree.
I'll try not to drink. That's fair. There's no such thing as a bad beer at any temperature. But Mitch is very particular about like where he drinks his styles of beers. Like if he's drinking an IPA, it needs to be really, really cold. If he's drinking a stout, you'll see him go like this, like he's warming it up. But he didn't do that initially. He was taking sips, and then he started going like this. Because I can guarantee you, Mitch is probably trying to figure out in his head right now what it tastes like now compared to what it tasted like 10 minutes ago, which is something that you mentioned at the beginning when we hit record.
Like, I agree. I think this is going to be a better beer warmer. Like this is a red wine style of beer. If you think about that, like you don't want to drink a red wine super tight and cold either. This is still good for sure. I'm very happy with how it came out, but I think as it evolves in your glass, you have a lot of things like the beer opens up, the flavor opens up. I also find that if you let the beer warm up in the can a little bit before you open it, then actually the bubbles integrate differently into the beer, and it will have kind of foamier, softer texture. So you can play around with that. You're drinking at home,
talk that shit, Blake.
I did enjoy the foamy head that we did get. It was caramel in color, and it wasn't like a huge head on it, but the color on this thing is awesome.
Yeah.
And I should be clear, man. Ale's been really nice and say, like, I do not work in a box. Like, I have an amazing group and team of people that I work with.
Which I enjoyed working with those, though.
And they, like, from design to brewing, like, everyone, like, I did not brew this beer. I don't really brew anymore. I tell these guys I'm like a coach, like, I used to brew all the time, and now, someone else is the quarterback, and I help support them and push our team, and we try to learn every step of the way. So we pass down the knowledge of vanilla or whatever it may be. But we have a really incredible brewing team and quality team, and everyone involved that really makes sure this beer tastes great. So I certainly I can't take all the credit at all. It's a big team effort.
So what's that collaboration look like then? Because we've never been part of like a collaborate, I've never been on the inside of a beer. So like if you're taking if you're taking like an image, so somebody like Ale who's been in the industry for 30 years or whatever, and like this guy has been an advocate for change, pushing envelope, pushing the boundaries and something like that. And then you've got a brewery like Creature Comforts that's just like, we don't brew 3 beers, and we're always looking at pushing the boundaries of what's next. So like when two people like you guys come together, like there's compromise, there's ideas and stuff like that. But what does the collaboration look like of this scale? What was the first meeting like when you guys were like, okay, what are we going to do? And then how did it end up to where it is today? It's a loaded question. It's a lot to unpack in there. I'm very curious.
It's a real one. I'll set him up, but I picked Creature also because of the proximity. I could geek out a little bit more, drive up if I have to, hour and a half away from Atlanta.
Atlanta's not far.
And we could go over design and merch. And like, again, those were the things. I wasn't worried about the quality of the beer. It was more about how it was presented. And I'm sure they haven't dealt with anybody like me in terms of how specific I want things, but they understood that going in. Yeah. They know that I care about style and my name being on something that's fucking dope, excuse my language, but has to be, it represents me. And my wife knows how meticulous I am with everything, but they landed everything. The proximity is what made the major difference. But down to the glassware, I mean, even there, I gave a little pour. I just tried a little bit over at the Porter with my boy EJ, the owner, and he poured it right up to the peas. He said, "I'm going to split the pea."
Heck yeah!
Oh,
yeah. I was like, okay, I'd even like
original
shit will just
right
pop
there.
up.
Yeah,
but like the piano, they're fucking with it, but the piano turning black when you pour it in.
Yeah,
the keys turn black. That was something that had to stay. But the splitting the pea is crazy. So and it happens where the head hits right there. Where it's like you're splitting the pea, but more about the collaboration thing.
So you knew the terms and conditions going in. It was like,
I've known Ale for a long time.
This is what it's going to be like when you signed up, right?
Yeah, and I got to taste the first round like back in the day, and then more recently we tried it again. But I remember this beer. I'm like, so it's like, okay, I have a good idea what the concept is, and at that point in time, I'm just there to interview. I'm asking a lot of questions. Okay. So it's like, okay, because what I'm trying to do is download, his vision and make sure that I understand everything he's talking about of what it needs to be like, what he envisions it for to taste like, what to feel like, all that stuff. And so a lot of it is that first meeting is exploring like, what are you trying to accomplish with this? Both from a actual liquid level, like what does the beer taste like, to what kind of scope and reach do you want the brand to have, and what do you want it to look like, and what kind of events do we want to be doing, and all that jazz, like, because it's not just one thing, it's everything, right? So that first meeting is me asking a lot of questions where I'm like, and then it's repeating it back is the way where we can make sure we're aligned. Like, here's what I'm hearing from you. Like, this is important. We wanted this is how we want the beer to taste. And then I'm like, all right, well, here's where I think I can add value here. Like, let me show you my vanilla world. Like,
Yeah.
And I've got a chocolate guy. Let's go meet him. And so like we went over to Condor.
So dope. We have documentation of that. You know what I mean? Of us walking into Condor for the first time and smelling stuff and tasting different chocolates. And I'm a writer, journalist. So kicking it with the PR, Rob, who was actually the one who helped out with getting the word out and and he asked me for my list of people who have to get this press release. So that's why I said, I got to mess with you guys. Yeah. You know what I mean? You guys are real. You really care about the industry, and I always have great experiences with you. So you were on that list.
Appreciate that.
And he's just like, and we're coming up with that. I'm like, wow, I'm actually making a press release for myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm always
You're writing it without writing it, right?
I'm pitched all the time. Now I'm doing one on my own.
Yeah.
So that was a fun process. And Fenwick looked over at the end of the day, and me and him are actually chilling, having a beer, and I wanted to make sure too that Blake was gonna be a part of it in that way. Yeah. I don't want it to just be all about me, and they know that, because I was even like, nah, I don't need to do no 30th thing, and then they were looking like, the hell you don't. What are you talking about? So it worked out, man. It's been a dope ass process. So.
It's interesting to see the 30 years come together, like right at the time when like Creature Comforts and Piano Keys is coming home to, I'll call it Greater Atlanta, because I mean, let's call it what it is. Like Athens is a stone's throw away from Atlanta, and just to be able to have it at the home base, at Creature Comforts,
a lot of my fans of Piano Keys they're like, when can I get it? That's part of the reason I was like, okay, it's time to rock and roll.
Right.
I just keep getting asked about it and asked, but I appreciate those people being loyal to the brand and just like old school, young school, like in between. They love the beer and they're not beer drinkers. So the mission is accomplished here.
This is one of those beers that doesn't necessarily play to just one demographic either.
That's right.
I mean, it's
That's intentionally.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's the original beer drinkers can appreciate the complexity that goes into something like this. The new beer drinkers that may not necessarily like, they may look at a beer and be like, oh, it's what'd you call it, yellow, and it's basically just like it's just
hay colored.
It's just it's a beer. Like it appeals to them. It appeals to the people that may not drink beer, but like a good chocolate, like good vanilla. Like it appeals to everybody, which plays well into the whole like diversity thing that you're trying to do with Piano Keys. Because it's not always been just about like, I just want to make a good beer. Like that's what you didn't start out in this industry 30 years ago just to make a good beer.
Right.
Like you saw there was a need for inclusion somewhere, right? And there was an underserved market. So rather than catering to just that market, how can you bring those markets together and bring everybody up? What is it that you say? You say a rising tide raises all ships or something like that. Like it makes sense. You bring one group up and everybody comes up together.
And it's happening, especially Atlanta is a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
It is the most culturally diverse beer city for making beer, and people of all races come together, and women. Women is a big pronounced situation in Atlanta right now, especially. Jen Price is one of the people doing their thing. The Beery Godmother is killing it and actually did a couple of collabs. Stephanie Grant. Like it's on and going, man. Like, and we have people in that position doing
Jen
it right.
Blair, Master Sister.
That's right. We got Brew Together, Andre running Brew Together, which is something, with beer and farmers. Yeah. So it's really dope.
Yeah, I live in Atlanta now, and it's the beer scene there keeps me fresh on beer.
Facts.
Like, I love seeing the new people coming into the scene and being able to drink beer with them. It reminds me of why I started to love beer in the first place. It's easy to be a jaded old brewer at some point, and I'm really grateful for the community that's there and what I keep getting shown on a regular basis, and how I can turn. Like, I mean, when I first got into making beer, it was very like, it's honestly a selfish endeavor. Like, I want to make great beer to prove to myself that I can make this thing. And then over time, I realized that, I've been given an opportunity to be able to create these brands and work with great people like Ale and others to raise up different voices, to point to different agricultural, foodways, to help our community, which is such a big part of what Creature is now. And that now, to me, is the most rewarding part of work. Like, it used to be if someone drank a beer and said it was great, but now it's really about our impact we get to have on the community. It's just, that's what makes it all worth doing it every day. It's great.
Man. Atlanta sounds awesome. In
dope.
Nashville, we've just had several closures of breweries and such, and I'm curious about like any new younger folks getting into the scene, what their experience is up there. But I've known Atlanta's been growing in the beer scene. I only know of like a couple places that have kind of come and gone after, I guess, weird as to say, 5 years going by. But
I have an optimistic outlook on it. Like, I know we've seen closures in Atlanta, we've seen closures everywhere in the country, but also we should, I think, recognize a couple of things. Number one is what we saw the previous 10 years to all this is unprecedented and will never happen again.
Okay.
Like, little things that people don't realize is like the Small Business Loan Association for the national government, the lowest default rate of any business in the country was a small brewery.
Whoa.
Like,
okay.
That gives you an idea
It's
of
a
like
wild statistic.
where we were in a growth time and period was like, it was the gold rush. It will never happen again, but that's okay. Now what we have is a more mature, developing industry. It's going to breed competition. It's going to breed people to figure out their own voice. It's going to breed the excellence, but also the great beer's not going anywhere. Like, I think it's cyclical, when people want to drink. But it's like, if a few restaurants close, we don't say the restaurant industry is going away. We say like, okay, now's a downturn and that sucks, and let's figure out how to get back up. But then there's always someone new that's coming along with a new perspective that's going to do something to blow our minds. Man. And that's still going to happen right now. Like, the people not being able to succeed right now, like I feel for them, and that's horrible because there's people losing jobs and losing their dreams. But I have no doubt that someone else with a new idea and a new voice and a new perspective is going to come along and share something great. And that's an optimistic thing to see in this time that's a little bit more challenging. But, you know, beer's been around as long as humans have.
It's true. And it's facts. Palates are getting a little more sophisticated too.
Okay.
So they realize a lot of the beer that they want, they know is super quality. They're going to keep patronizing those spots. So lager makers like Halfway Crooks, you know, and others, they're going to be like maintaining their audience. But real quick, the whole diversity thing we were talking about, when I first started, again, this is the 30 years we're talking, and I was the only brother at a lot of places that were beer. Yeah. Just no brewery that said whites only, or no beer pub that said whites only on there. It wasn't really.
It was the thing. It was just like it was.
I'm gonna be the only brother. Fine. I'm gonna create a sticker and have a name that sounds revolutionary and very progressive. Ale Sharpton. But Blake said something really funny. He said, and I love that because now I'm going to spots where I'm the only white dude.
Sure. And I do love it.
And that's Atlanta for you. And there's a lot of other cities that are really developing that. Sacramento has a really powerful black beer scene. Chicago. So we're getting there.
Heck yeah.
Little bit by little.
A lot of great things are happening. The National Black Brewers Association,
Yeah,
the NJF, the fact that we've got nothing's going to change or get better about a problem if there's no acknowledgement of the problem. And I think at least now it's very acknowledged, and there's people doing work and real work. And now people who were, you know, like, I don't like this problem, but I don't know how to do anything about it. Now they have ways to channel their energy and to make a change happen. So we've seen great opportunities for us to plug in. I think a lot of other breweries feel the same way, and we can really make a difference, you know. And I love living in Atlanta so much because I go to other cities. I'm like, where are all the black folks? Like, this is really boring, y'all. Like, you guys don't have. There's a vibe in Atlanta that is that's missing everywhere else, you know. And if you don't know that and you live in Atlanta, then I encourage you to plug into the vibe because it's what makes that city special.
For sure. And there's that kind of ties into something that we were talking about the other day. An unprecedented event is like breweries were just popping up over the last few years. Money was cheap, right? People could just borrow, and they could open up brewery. A lot of the beer tastes the same. Like all these, they would just open up to just brew the same IPA over and over and over again. And then as you're seeing it starting to consolidate, close down, the winners are prevailing, and the people that seem to be sticking around, generations today don't drink beer because they just want to drink beer. They're putting their money towards a cause. Like that's where people are spending their money. Most people are spending their money. They're putting their money into something that they know is going to better the community, which is probably why Creature Comforts has stayed. You know, it's one of the reasons Creature Comforts is thriving is because, you know, it's not just about making a beer. It's about their community as well. It's not just why, you know, Ale's not just making a beer just to make a beer, because it's about the community. It's about like the inclusion, and you can tell that all the way down from just black and white keys. You know, I mean, like, look at the table. This is something, to your point, in the craft beer industry that 15 years ago wasn't a thing. You know, 10 years ago probably wasn't a thing, you know, but to be able to have that diversity and that inclusion is really cool. But to not necessarily focus on that as saying, look, I'm trying to push this, just make it happen. And then people just, the people that want to make it happen just naturally come in, and then things just keep growing. People put money towards a cause. And if breweries can do that, that's what I like about craft brewers, is they're putting their money towards a cause, doing collaborations like Piano Keys.
We changed our purpose. Our original purpose is different than where we are now. And we feel like we're very intentional as a business on if we make something change, like what our purpose is. That's not something we take lightly. It's not happening every year. I think we've changed our purpose maybe once or twice in our entire existence in the last 12 years. The reality of it is we changed it a few years ago because we realized the core of what we do and our absolute essence of who we are is to foster human connection. Our mission talks about beverages, but our purpose is actually just to bring people together.
No.
And we take that super seriously. It's not just something that's like on the website. I mean, it gets brought up in meetings maybe on a daily basis, weekly basis for sure. And it's driven our decisions of how we operate, like what we do, how we plug in. We feel like like for us, it's cool. We're all here because beer brought us together.
Right.
And we feel like beers and beverages in general, because now we distill, like it has this amazing opportunity to get people together, give you something to talk about, and maybe like taking a 6-pack over to your neighbor that you disagree with a lot of shit about. That 6-pack is like a little bridge, where you're
Absolutely.
like, cool, man, I might not agree with you on everything, but we both like this beer. We both like kicking it on the porch.
Yeah.
So maybe you're not, the devil incarnate. Maybe we have something more in common than we think.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's just we really feel passionately that like in this world where it's becoming more and more that we're being told we all need to be at odds with each other.
Yeah.
That the reality of it is like we have a lot more in common than we think, and we all actually. I generally try to tell myself and look at others. I'm like, everyone's doing their best.
Yeah.
And I try to believe that even about the person that makes me the most mad. And it's just a better way to live. So that's like at the core of who we are, why we make beer, why we bring people together. It just makes it all better. And so to your point of like why people want to get into something or spend money on something, it's like we hope that we can start there. Hopefully you bring people together, but beyond all that, man, like we actually put some serious meat into the community on the work we're doing as far as like our 3rd grade literacy intervention or how we're working with sustainability and, changing our carbon footprint, any of that. Like we really hope that in all the things we do from beer to operations, that if you ask more questions, you get continually more impressed. And we try to hold ourselves to that standard.
This collaboration makes sense. Like
Yeah,
it totally
Yeah, it
makes
does.
sense. The two guys right here, I can see it. I can see it. With a few minutes left, because I know we want to be respectful of you guys' time, but like let's talk a few minutes about the party tonight. So Piano Keys, they're releasing today, Creature Comforts. There's merch everywhere upstairs. He's wearing it.
Yeah.
Ale's wearing it. The
Dude,
hat
it looks
the
good.
hat, by
It
the way.
looks great.
Show the sleeve off, Ale. That's what he
Yeah.
said. Get his good side. Like that thing is.
The piano on the sleeve is just a thing I really wanted to have.
Yeah.
I want to continue with that because I've had it before, and then I have a thing with sleeves. So it's kind of like a trademarky kind
Okay.
of thing. I just want to have some things consistent with that.
Yeah.
I'm really into clothes.
Okay.
And sneakers. So the coordination, the black, the red, and then UGA.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it would have been a lot tougher if this was Tennessee. And I'm like, damn, I got to make some orange cans and shit. I'm like, no, I got to stick
Don't
with
worry
my
about
black
them.
and
Don't
red.
worry about it.
My black
Don't
and
worry
red.
about them. That's all good.
That just was a
Don't
great
worry about it.
coincidence, though, to be a UGA because we went to a game. It's on my Instagram.
Okay. Yeah.
And I documented the whole thing, and we kicked it hard. And I was like, this has felt like
Yeah.
home to me in terms of where to launch the beer. So it was all those things. But yeah, tonight is going to be an example of diversity and people kicking in, women, men, black, white, everything, Latino. It's all going to be there. We have people driving up from Atlanta asking when we're going to be there in the tap room. So I'm excited. And this is my initial launch. And then I have like 5 different events going on.
You've got some things coming up later too
Yeah.
this week, right?
And,
Yeah.
And the cool thing real quick is Creature's entering new markets, new states. And so any way I can help push it and, tell people to look for my stuff there or whatever. And I think we're going to be doing something in DC at Church Key.
Okay.
So, which is one of my favorite bars and stuff. But I was like, Blake, can we get to New York? We're working on that. We're working on that. He's like, let's just get this together. Let's get this going on. So I had to be lassoed in a few times in terms of, I love that intimacy though.
Yeah.
And making sure that the Southeast is taken care of 1st.
I mean, Atlanta is your stomping grounds.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
A cool question we kind of came up with going over the notes of what we could find online about all this, especially with the 30 years. What would 1996 Ale think of this beer?
Well, 1996 Ale was fucking with Imperial Stouts a lot more. My joint was a Brooklyn Black Chocolate Stout. But I never saw chocolate vanilla beer. I just didn't, and it just made perfect sense. I'm a music person, so if I knew I was going to implement all the things I love, art, music, beer, and then people getting together to enjoy it, that was my, and if someone told me that back then, I'm like, all right, I'm going to keep going. That's what I would have said. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That was a good answer, actually.
Very good.
We didn't know what was going to come out of
Hey,
that
put me on
one.
the spot, man. I freestyle all day, baby.
I love it. A few minutes about the events coming up this week.
Yeah, so we're doing something at Brick Store. I can't wait. They already got me on a chalkboard
Okay,
with Creature saying
Yep.
Ale and Creature, and
like that.
because Creature gets down with Brick Store way back, and I wrote an article on them on I think it was their 10th anniversary,
Okay,
and that was a big thing. So yeah, that's gonna be dope. And then we're going to Hop City. We're gonna be having some limited edition merch there, and we're gonna be pouring it there. That's my office. I always have my meetings at Hop City.
Okay.
Shout out to Craig and the whole staff over there. And it's in a food hall, so it just is somewhere where people want to go eat. You go get your, and we'll go back and talk. So I'm there pretty often. I'm like Norm there. Well, there's a couple Norms there. I'm more like Cliff. And then we have the big one. Well, they're all big, but the 23rd is going to be crazy. I'm doing another event at Argosy, by the way. My parents' basement is doing tapping. I'm going to show up for them. The porter is making a wonderful dessert. What's the dessert?
The affogato.
Affogato.
It's like a beer riff on an affogato.
I have pictures on
Classically,
him. Yeah,
an
EJ,
affogato would be
yeah.
espresso on gelato. So
Yeah.
instead of doing espresso, they're doing the beer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
And then Terminal West is going to be sick.
Yeah.
Um,
Next Monday, the
That's
23rd.
the birthday party.
Yeah.
We're throwing the 30th birthday party for Ale Sharpton.
At a music venue, one of the best concert venues in
We
the
got
city.
DJ.
That's
I have
hell of a view.
DJ Ross Ruth, who
Yeah.
used to be Tribe Called Quest DJ,
Mhm.
especially Fife's manager. I'll do respect to Fife, but we go way back since our beats and lyrics and stuff like that. So Ross Ruth's doing the whole thing, and that's 3 hours of amazing experience. I might say something real quick, but we're gonna do a toast, and I have food by my sister, who's a renowned chef throughout the nation and great entrepreneur, but she put things aside to have her team do something. Dishful Thinking is going to be doing our stuff. So everything's culinary in my family. My family goes back generations of being chefs. And so my nephew is the youngest chef ever at State Farm Arena with the Hawks play. He's the youngest sous chef they've ever had at 18, and he's murdering it. So they got an executive,
incredible.
So we're all going to be there, and it's going to be all the people just having a good time and toasting off to me. And again, they pushed this on me, and I just had to happily accept. I had no choice. And but after noticing it's 30 years, man, and being with good people like yourselves and spending time to promote what I do, along with these great people at Creature, I'm very happy, and I appreciate you,
Dude, we're honored to be here. Thank you.
no doubt, man.
Definitely,
Y'all good people,
for
man. Beer brings good people together.
And there's definitely people back home that are waiting for that Piano Keys Stout when we get back.
Dude.
So we'll be
There'll be a little bit showing up in Tennessee.
Sweet.
See,
really.
Mhm.
Yep.
Heck yeah.
Kicking the door, waving the 4-4.
Hey, all right.
Dude.
That was a good beer, Mitch.
That was.
There's more in this can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Come on, guys. Come on.
Yeah,
And the temperature's
we'll do it.
probably just right.
Mitch is exactly where it needs to be. So I think the plan, at least for right now, so we're staying around for the better part of the next.
Oh, you
few
better,
hours
dude.
to
It's
kind of
gonna be
hang out.
crazy.
Yeah, we're doing a staff happy hour tap out with ale.
Yeah, I have a
We
piano.
told our folks,
sorry.
that's good. We told our folks we could get cut out of work early and come drink some beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
Good
right
for
after
you.
this, and then I have a playlist too. They're gonna rock. It has a lot of different stuff
That's
in there that
awesome.
maybe the tap room hasn't heard before, but it's very family friendly. I make sure the Outcast is the clean version.
And it's
But we have a lot of. I'm a jazz head though, honestly.
hell yeah.
So Ahmad Jamal, and McCoy Tyner, and people like that, and we nerd out on
That
that.
actually brought us together too. We talk about music a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We'll spin some vinyl, maybe kick it at a spot. And,
and it's a cool, comfy spot up there too, man. I mean, like we're hanging out in the cocktail bar area downstairs right now, but like the main brewery upstairs, like such a dope spot.
Thanks. Our team upstairs, they're killer. They would continually reinvent that space, make the most of it, see how people are, loving it or are asking for something new, and they adjust. And
Yeah.
it's really shout out to that our taste, our front of house team. They're incredible.
And please keep
Facts.
doing.
Those
Yeah.
are the homies.
And please keep doing this because this is you guys are the reasons why we do what we do is because we like to get the information of this kind of like stuff out into the world, because there's people in areas of Nashville that have no idea what kind of beer is out there.
Yeah,
and there's
so-
something that they could enjoy but they just don't know exists
For us to kind of like see our different avenues we play in. So we have the core brands that we make all the time, and then we have our limited release programs called our Curious Collection.
Yep.
So this is part of our Curious Collection, as well as this Dark Mild that's on the table. But if you go up in our tasting room, you'll see stuff that you're familiar with, and you'll see other stuff that's part of our Curious Collection that you don't know about. So
Okay.
and in that program, we'll release around, averaging 4 different beers a month. So it's almost a new beer every week.
Wow.
And we do everything, like from Dark Mild to Imperial Stout with chocolate and vanilla. So
It's a wild swing.
well, we pride ourselves into, like, we've got some of our most senior people working hard from the production side of things on making these different styles, and they do a killer job.
Hell yeah.
Great job, by the way.
Shout out to the
Thank you.
staff,
This
baby.
is great, by
Yeah.
the way. I'm going to cheers to you, Mitch. I'm going to cheers to these guys.
Cheers to 30 more years.
30 more years.
I gotta get a
That's
little.
right.
I can't choose on an empty beer.
Don't
And I'm gonna
cheers
use
on
the
an empty
same.
beer.
I'm gonna say the same thing. I started when I was 5, so you know what I mean.
Naturally.
I wrote my articles in crayon. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
Cheers,
Cheers, gentlemen.
guys.
Thank you very much.
Word up,
Cheers.
man. Hey, to more beer. Temperature's hitting right now, bro.
That's where
That
yeah.
chocolate's coming
That's
in
where
more
it-
now.
yeah.
That's brownie now.
Yeah.
It's brownie now.
Droid camera with me. If we
Oh,
wanna
let's
take
go old school, baby. I love it. 30-year-old camera.